So I was only planning to do Luocha for this one, but since I got Yukong, I just decided, okay, you know what, whatever, just level her up, see how she is, and see how everything goes. And yeah, so everything went to as I expected, maybe slightly worse with Luocha. I think with Yukong, I underestimated how awkward she is, but first with Luocha. Luocha's act still insane, even though he seems to be worse than I expected. So the things that I got wrong was that his first bonus ability. When I mean the field is attacked by an ally, all allies except the attack restore HP equal to 7% of Luocha's attack plus 93. This is only active when Abyss Flower is up, and it doesn't really mention it. So I thought, okay, hey, this heals active almost all the time, so it's perfect passive healing. Well, it's really good passive healing. The problem is it's only active when Abyss Flower's up, and Mihoyo's localization and the description team not adding the fact that it had the restriction of needing Abyss Flower to be up. That is an L on their part. Now, the thing I did actually get wrong because of not reading. Well, it's not even reading, it's lack of reading the in-game mechanics. Or it's like extra reading. His final bonus ability, the chance to resist crowd control debuffs increases by 70%. This 70% is not flat, so he doesn't have a natural 70% chance to resist stun, freeze, etc. No, it's only 70% multiplier on the calculation to resist crowd control debuffs, which does mean you actually have to run effect resistance body on enemies who do tend to crowd control, like Kafka, Kokolia. So yeah, there's that. But the upside is that his healing is so insane that you could still go affect resistance body and he'll still heal a ton. Like I found myself healing for like 2,000 with like an okay build, and sometimes he'd heal even 2,700. Not sure how, but hey. Luocha's kit is fairly easy to level up. He doesn't require any really of his traces, which gives him stats. So you just need to get all of his ascension traces, and you just need to level up his skill and his talent, which is incredibly cheap to do so. So yeah, Luocha's teams are also incredibly good because Luocha can work on any team you can place him in, so long as they don't mind being at full HP. So the only character he won't work with, of course, is Arlen. So yeah, but any single character that attacks, Luocha works well with. Luocha especially works well with Clara because, as you know, Clara can attack basically any time. So being able to attack more, no matter how weak it is, means more healing. So, but he'll also work well with the future HP draining destruction characters like Blade, who and Jinglu. So if Blade and Jinglu drop below 50% HP, he'll auto target and he'll heal them. And he really just works on anyone. I found him and Pella to be a really good pairing because both are extremely skill point efficient, and they both will just start normal attacking. And if both uses wind set, they'll start spamming advance forward, which is infinitely more potent than than the garbage wild bleed set with its 6% speed increase. Now you are probably gonna say, oh hey, but more speed on him means he'll reduce the turns on Abyss Flower. Well, Abyss Flower seems to last a bit longer than I thought. Not reducing the turn count on the turn that he activates Abyss Flower, so that's kind of nice. And if he acts more, he'll have less cooldown on his auto skill, which is beneficial too in general. And it has come true where fighting Arumatrons, or is it Arumatrons, not Arumatrons? Okay, yeah, the Arumatrons and Kokolia, or any enemies that like stun your allies, and if they take that big hit, Luocha just comes in, just auto skills, and it's so good. Like his auto skill is just incredibly good because it heals while not consuming SP, while also regenerating energy and giving him an Abyss Flower stack. So there can be times where you normally heal one ally drops below 50, then he'll just auto scale, and it's like, okay, that's free SP. Like, I can't argue with that. I don't really talk about the talents because talents are really, they're really situational more than most of the time. But because when he uses his technique and he can just immediately enter battle with Abyss Flower, it's like it's pretty good. It's pretty good. It's much better than him requiring to enter battle. So you can use his technique, and then use Pella's defense shred attack to enter. So very, very good. Yeah. Yeah, so Luocha is just as good as I thought, probably even better because I really underestimated how comfortable he is, because he can just heal your entire team and you can just keep attacking and attacking and attacking without really worrying about dying and whatnot. And if you do in case drop below 50%, he'll just auto skill you. And if you do still need to heal, his healing is so potent that he does generate a lot of SP along with Pella, so if you pair them both up together, I run into the situation where I really need to spend skill points because I'm hitting the cap. So yeah, he's an incredibly good character. Must pull even if you have Gepard, Natasha. Well, I mean, you do have Natasha, but even if you have Bailu Gepard, he's still worth it because he's basically better than both. Now there's this power creep. What's his name? Gepard? Kind of, because a lot of the time it's more comfortable to have Luocha, but Gepard does give you that protection of having shields over time and actually taking single target hits with his taunt or his natural taunt as a preservation or a tank unit. So Gepard does slightly lose a bit of value, but he's still pretty good. With Yukong, her buffs are good, but she just feels so awful to play, and it's incredibly hard to synergize her buffs, or sorry, not synchronize her buffs with your damage dealer, because with Yukong it's really unfortunate because she's allowed me to do the highest damage I've ever seen on my characters, except the problem is that only happens once in a while. So a lot of the time you do slightly the same amount of damage, if not worse damage in general with your damage dealer than with Tingyun or with even Asta, because the problem with Yukong is that while yes, you do have a lot of damage that she gives, more than most of the time, it's incredibly hard to synchronize her with your main damage dealer for your damage dealer to actually get buffed to where either you speed modulate or you're gonna have to do the stupid thing and have only 2 characters in the team. That way, you at least have a 100% uptime on her skill buffs, which is incredibly cope. And I can't really understand how bad it is to have her off synchronized if you're not speed modulating, because more than most of the time Yukong's not really doing anything, because if you're skilling characters who don't need to be buffed, so it's absolutely worthless sometimes. And with her buffs ending on allies ending their turn, it's like, ooh. Now you're gonna be looking at my traces and you're gonna say, oh hey, you haven't leveled up any of her traces and her ascension levels, so you're getting a very undercooked version of Yukong. And I would say, not really. Her what's it called? Her traces, ascension traces are not really that great. Maybe her ascension traces giving her more energy is useful, but even then, you still don't. They'll only be useful with your ult the moment you have E6, which gives her one bowstrings to actually allow your allies to allow one ally to receive the enhanced roaring bowstring with her ultimate. So it's not really that great. You're not given options or tools to consistently apply it to your main damage dealer outside of ult. But even then, her ult is 160. Sorry, not 160, 140, which is extremely expensive. And it can help a little bit with her energy regeneration abilities, and maybe her some of her Adolins, like her E2 and her final ascension trace leveling up. but it's still, she still feels awful to play, and you're gonna have to put insane restrictions on yourself, like speeding Yukong up or slowing down your damage dealer, which slowing down your damage dealer is not ideal because you want your damage dealer to take more turns. Yeah, Yukong, not great, not great.